Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about how do you factor quadratics, but when a is not equal to 1. Very importantly, right? So far we've been dealing with f of x equals x squared plus something x plus something, right? We've been dealing with these types of problems. Now, instead of having a 1 here as 1x squared, we're going to start seeing a different number. Something different for a, okay? So we're looking at these kind of scenarios. It's the same type of problem, right? Still the Lopez approach, still factoring, still doing the 3 columns, still cross multiplying and adding. All of that's the same, but we're going to throw a number in the front to make things just a little bit more complex. So let's do a few examples, and then tomorrow we can do some practice over all of this. Here we have our first example, right? I did introduce this in class a couple of days ago. I want to talk more about this right now. So the first thing you want to do is, as always, make your 3 columns and find your factors of each of the first column and the third column. Now in the first column, it's not just going to be x times x, because now we have a 3 to worry about. So yes, x times x gives you x squared, but now we got to find the factors of 3 as well. So x times x gives you x squared, and now we need to multiply 3 times 1. So 3x times 1x gives you 3x squared. On the last column, you still have 5 as a number, so we're going to find the factors as 5 times 1. Now remember, one of these has to be negative, so we can do 5 times negative 1, and negative 5 times 1 are our factors. And then we put them in here, and we find out what works. Let's start with the first one, 5 times negative 1. If I cross multiply, I have negative 3x on the top and positive 5x on the bottom. When I add these, do they add up to negative 2x? No. Negative 3 plus 5 is positive 2x, so this scenario did not work out. Now there are several things that we want to be able to consider. Would it help if I switch these problems or these numbers? Before I eliminate 5 and negative 1 as an option, can I switch them to see a different result? This is what I mean. Instead of saying 5 times negative 1, we can still say the same numbers, the exact same numbers, but negative 1 times 5. When you cross multiply, now notice how still the same scenario, right? 5 times 3 is 15x, and negative 1 times 1x gives you negative 1x. Does this add up to negative 2? And it's no. So switching the order does not solve the problem. That's when I can eliminate this out of the equation. I got to try both. I got to try 5 times negative 1 and negative 1 times 5. And then I can move on to the next problem. So, no good there. Now let's try negative 5 times 1. When I cross multiply in the top, I have 1 times 3x gives me 3x. In the bottom, I have negative 5 times x gives me negative 5x. This actually does add up to negative 2. 3 plus negative 5 is negative 2. There's my solution. So my answers are always horizontal. So f of x equals 3x minus 5 and x plus 1, because it's positive 1. So really it's the same method, the same situation, but now we really have to consider more things here. We're not just doing negative 5 times 1, but we also have to consider the possibility of what happens if we switch it. What if we put the 1 on top and the negative 5 on the bottom? Why does it matter now? Well, we now are multiplying. When we cross multiply, we're cross multiplying it times another number. Before it was just x times x. It's not a big deal. But now, multiplying times 1 gives you 3. Multiplying it by the 5 gives you 15. So now it's more possibilities. And as before, the more you do this, the more comfortable you get. Let's try the next scenario. All right, so first thing we want to do is the 3 columns. And on the left, to get 2x squared, we're going to do 2x times x. X times x gives you x squared, and 2 times that imaginary 1 gives you 2. On the right side, we have multiple possibilities. We can do 9 times negative 1, or negative 9 times 1. We can also do 3 times negative 3. Okay? So here, it just comes down to you just got to try stuff out. Okay? Now, I'm going to start with this 3 times negative 3 because I can start already recognizing patterns. And I'm going to start with 3 times negative 3. When I cross multiply, 3 times 2 gives you positive 6x, and negative 3 times x gives you negative 3x. By adding these, 6 plus negative 3 does not give you negative 3. That does not work out. So what do? I switch the order first. Before I cancel this as an option, switch the order. The 3 and the negative 3 are going to get swapped. So now it's 3 here and negative 3 is at the bottom. That changes things because when I cross multiply, negative 3 times 2 gives you negative 6. Before it was positive 6, now it's negative 6. The 3 in the bottom goes as 3x. Notice how by adding these, negative 6x plus 3x actually does give you negative 3x. That works out. So my solutions are 2x plus 3 and x minus 3. The thing about these is that method that I taught you before where we would like add them and subtract them to get if we got this number, it's not going to work anymore. We cannot just add them and subtract them to eliminate our answer choices because now you have to cross multiply. The negative 3 here becomes 6. It gets bigger, right? Having a factor in the front that is not equal to 1 gives you a lot more possibilities. So the only one that I'm going to focus on switching is going to be the right side. Switch the order. If they both don't work, then move on to the next possibility. All right, let's try this last one right here. Okay, for this one, why don't you give it a pause here? Put pause on this video. Try it out yourself. See what you got, and we'll see if we get to the same solution. Okay, hopefully you did try that out. On the first column, to get 5x squared, we're going to multiply 5x times x. On the right side, we have 2 times 1. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to try 2 times 1. When I cross multiply, on the top I get 7x and 2x. Sorry, that's not true. I get 5x and 2x. Does this add up to a negative 7? No, it doesn't. So what I need to include is negative 2 times negative 1. Make them both negative. Negative times a negative gives you a positive, but when I add these negatives, I get negative 7. So here's our combination. We ignore this right here, and we have 5x minus 2 and x minus 1. I hope this works for you guys. This is basically the same approach, but now we have more things to consider on the first column. Give the assignment a try. You can already see the assignment posted on tomorrow's folder. Give it a try. Let's see how it goes, and then tomorrow we'll finish the assignment. You guys have a great day. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and as always, I'll calculate later.